My grandfather, if it wasn't for him, I would not be back farming. There's no way I could get the backing to get started up farming.
The grandson that I'm working with right now, that kind of in a partnership with, and he's more or less taken some of that over.
I think I've seen a lot of change, but it is nothing compared to what he's seen.
I can't imagine anybody's lifespan that's seen as many changes as my era, the people that were born about the time I was to this stage. Why, you know, like everything was horses back then, no tractors, and now you go to tractors and you go to global positioning. You don't even have to be in that tractor and send it to the other end and back and all that stuff. But it's hard, and going to the moon and all that, it's just hard to visualize that any other generation could have seen as many changes maybe as we have in the last almost 100 years, I guess you might say.
He's getting up and harnessing your team, going out to plow with your 2 or 3 bottom plow all day long, looking back, oh, I got a couple acres, you know, and
couple acres done during that entire day.
Yeah, during that entire day. And now around here we don't plow, but you go out and 30-foot planter, say 1 round through the field, 3.5 acres, a half mile around is 3.5 acres.
If you farmed a section of land back then, why, you was a big farmer, so like a quarter of a section was probably a good average, maybe 3/80s. Might take you a day and a half or 2 days to plow 10 acres with a couple plows. You know, you go 3 or 4 rounds and maybe you rest the horses for a little while and start whittling. Maybe rest your horses a little bit. You had to treat, that was your livelihood, was your horses, so you took care of them.
My grandfather remembers, and we still have the original John Deere A that they got. 1936, they got their first tractor.
How many horsepower?
Low 30 horsepower.
So he was going from 2 horses
Yes.
and 2 horsepower
Yes.
to 30
To 30 horsepower.
to what do you have now?
I run a 225 horse tractor. So
could you imagine hitching up 225 horses?
right. Can you imagine the hay that you would have to raise to keep 225 horses in your stable?
Mm-hmm.
That's the change I was talking about earlier. You know, you can't visualize. We got a monitor in our combine that tells, on the go, it tells what the corn's making, what the moisture of the corn is, and that's your global positioning. If you go one step farther, then you can hook up to the global part, the exact spot in that field.
Grandpa was born in 24, so it wasn't long, and the 30s came along, the Depression came along, and it was tough. I mean, he's told stories. It was definitely tough.
Everybody should go through tough times, money-wise or whatever, you know.
Very shrewd, I was raised or brought up very shrewd. I mean, if you saved a penny, you saved a penny. And that is very true today. Grandpa took very good care of me. I had a flock of sheep. Grandpa took care of me. My sheep had all the hay they could eat. That herd of sheep put me through a 2-year VOTEC school. I came out no debt. It put my sister through pre-med.
My grandson is ahead of me as far as like his junior college, you know. He's, in fact, he makes more decisions today than I do. I'm still the old-fashioned one. I might say, well, I don't think we need that. Let's be a little more conservative or something, you know. But he's more gung-ho, and that's good, because a lot of that stuff he picked up through school and that I didn't.
I don't want to take away from past generations, but when my grandfather Clyde was growing up, I maybe would have said the harder you worked, the more money you're going to make. And I'm not going to say that that's not true today, but you have to work hard and you have to manage hard.